Hello everybody, this is Kiran and today we are going to learn some more topics on MySQL, which will include the difference between delete, truncate and drop commands, and we'll also learn about subqueries in this session. So to begin with, let's first see the difference between delete, truncate and drop, which is a very commonly asked interview question. So here we go. So first let's check out what is delete command, then we'll go in the flow. So we have already seen that delete command is used to delete any particular row from a table. So the delete is a DML statement. We also have read this, that data manipulation language statement. Delete is used to find out a particular row based on any condition which we have given in that particular query, and it will go to that row or the set of rows and it will delete all those, right? So delete removes some rows if the where clause is used. If there is no where clause used, so what is the syntax for using delete command? Delete from table name. So where we specify some condition. So if there is no where clause used, we only have written delete from table name, it will delete all the rows from that particular table. But it's a DML statement, we have to remember that it can be rolled back. So there's no auto commit in DML statements, right? So delete removes some rows if the where clause is attached, is used. If not, then the entire set of rows. It can be rolled back because it's a DML statement, so it can be rolled back. It can be used with one or with or without the where clause. Yes, like we can use delete from table name or delete from table name where something, some condition we can apply. Does not reset identity of the table. So yes, if you're using delete command, the table remains intact. Even if all the data of the table is removed, the table remains there. The table spacing remains there. Okay. So triggers will be fired. So when we are actually running the delete command, in the backend, there are different flags set. There are different triggers which get fired. So in case of delete, yes, triggers get fired. When delete operation is performed, all the data get copied into the rollback table space first, and delete operation is performed, so that if there is a rollback required, we can roll it back. So that's about the delete command. We'll see what is truncate command and then drop command. Okay. Now before that, we can just quickly see the syntax which we have already used a lot of times. So delete from table name where some condition, let's say where column name is equals to, or let's say we want to write where ID is equals to 4. So we'll uniquely identify that particular row and we'll delete it. Okay. So if you're just writing delete from table name or delete star from table name, it will delete all the data from that particular table. Now we'll read about truncate now and then we'll go to drop. Now what is truncate command? Truncate is used to also remove the data from the table. So the SQL truncate, which is a DDL statement, it is not a data manipulation, it's a data definition language statement. It is used to delete the complete data from the existing set. Okay. So you will not be able to identify a particular data and remove. If you're doing a truncate table name, it will be gone. So you have to use a table keyword because it's a DDL statement, right? So truncate table name will delete all the data from the table, but the table spacing again remains intact here. If you want to remove the table schema altogether, you have to use drop command. Okay. So you can also use drop command to delete the complete table, but it would also remove the table structure from the database and you will need to recreate this table if you want to again use it. But in case of truncate, the table remains there, the structure remains there, so we can use it. So that is the difference. Ideally delete, then truncate, then drop. So delete, we have seen it's a DML. Truncate is a DDL. Here also all the data is removed, but the table structure remains intact. And the syntax, of course, we have to see. So let's say this is a table which is customers table. We have ID, name, age, address, salary. So you have all these columns here. And if you want to run the truncate command, it will be truncate table and then the table name. So table keyword has to be there. Truncate table and then the customers. So what it will do? So after when you are actually running truncate table and table name, and then you are using select star from table name, so you'll get it is an empty set, as in the table is there but there are no data inside it, so there's no data, so that is empty set. Now if you're using drop command, let's say you're using drop is a DDL statement. right? It's yet another DDL statement. If you're using drop table name, then the entire schema is gone. You cannot retrieve the table back. Okay, it removes the table from the database, table structures, indexes, privileges, constraints, everything is removed from that particular table. Cannot be rolled back. Yeah, all DDL statement, it will not be rolled back. No triggers will be fired in this case also. So drop table name is the syntax of this, and once you're doing drop table name, it's gone. Okay, and truncate, we have seen that it is a DDL statement also. We have seen that like we can use it. We cannot use where clause here. There's no conditions which can be applied with along with truncates. It's truncate table name. It also cannot be rolled back. Okay, so that is the difference between delete, truncate and drop. Delete is a DML. Truncate and drop both are DDL statements. Delete can be rolled back. Truncate and drop cannot be rolled back. Delete is used to delete one or more data from the table. We can also delete all the rows from the table using delete star from table name or delete from table name. Truncate is used to again remove all the data from the table, but the table structure remains intact. So there's no where clause which you can apply. You have to remove all the data. But in case of drop, the entire table structure is removed. You cannot retrieve back the table. So that's the difference between delete, truncate and drop. Now we'll see what is a subquery in MySQL. Here we go. Now subquery means query within a query. So if you can just have a look on my diagram for a while. So there's some example shown. Select star from table 1. Then there is some condition. Okay. And then equals to, so another query. Subquery, if there are two queries, query within a query, the internal query will be executed. The output will be taken and it will act as an input to the first query, and then the query is executed. So subquery is query within a query. So small query is executed, output is produced, that output acts as an input to the outer query, and then the result is produced again. So how and why do we need subqueries? Some situation can be like that one query is not enough. See the example of subquery. We'll quickly go to our own table and we'll see. So here is our table. We created two tables yesterday. One was student and the other is departments. So we'll go to student table. We'll do a select star from student and then we'll find out, and we'll use a subquery here. Just a second. Yeah, so we'll do select star from student. So we'll get the list of all the students. Just a second. Now I'll get the list of all the students who are there. Now let's say there are different marks of each student. So we want to find out the highest marks in the class. So what do? We know, right? To find out the highest marks, select max marks from student. Okay. We'll run this. So we get to know what is the highest marks in the class, isn't it? Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so we have written the wrong table name. That's why. So select max marks from students. So 100 is the maximum marks which is one of the student have. The highest marks which any of the students have got is 100. Now we want to know the second highest marks in the class. Okay, how do we do that? So we have to find out the second highest marks. So the query for writing that needs a subquery. Okay, so we do. Let me show you the select star in the another tab so that you can get an idea. So select star from student, we'll do here. So just get an idea, here we go. So select star, so you can see so many marks. Now second highest marks is select max marks from student where marks is equals to, now we'll run another query here, select max marks from employee, sorry, from students, okay. So what is this query doing actually? It will, as per the diagram which we saw in the PPT, with the inner query will be executed first, isn't it? We'll go back to the PPT and check. Here we go. So you can see here the inner query will be executed first, and the inner query's output will act as the input to the outer query, and then it will be executed, okay. So inner query is executed, it gives the result, and that is fed into the outer query, and then outer query will also give the results. Now if you go back to this, first inner query will be executed. Select max marks from student. What is that value? It will return you 100. Now the query says select maximum marks from student where marks is equals to not equals to, actually it should be less than, okay, where marks should be less than 100. So amongst all the marks, the maximum marks will be from here. If you can see, the maximum marks is 190. So it should be less than 100. So less than 100 is 90. So second highest will be printed. If I execute this, we'll get 90, because 90 is the second highest marks in the class. So this type of problem can be solved using subqueries, wherein we have a requirement which cannot be solved using one direct query. We have to write something, use that output as an input to some other query. That is called subquery, query within a query. Okay, so what we are doing, we are running this, select max marks from student, it is returning me 100, and we are writing select max marks from student where marks is less than 100. So less than 100 is 190, so 90 is printed. Now we'll just go back and see if we have more examples. So this was some query for the movie table, and then it's executed and it gets us the results here. Just a second. We can also use triple queries, like there are 3 subqueries, query within query within query. So innermost query will be executed first, and then it will be acting as the input to the second query. Then again the output will come, it will act as an input to the outermost query. So that is triple query. It can also be used. So subqueries are very useful. Query within a query. So you have to remember this. So the summary says subqueries are embedded queries inside another query. The embedded query is known as the inner query, and the container query is called the outer query. Subqueries are easy to use, offer great flexibility, and you can write very complex problems, solve very complex problems using this. So that's all for today. In the next session, we'll learn about union and joins. Thank you.